There we go.
Jeremy
Jeremy online?
and Jeff, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both very faint though. Joe, do you know how to turn up the audio on the, because I've got it maxed out on the computer, but it's still quiet with the phone calls, so. If not, we'll fix it later, but.
Are you going to go to a meeting?
No, this is Google, but it should be the same. I mean, it's just coming through the speakers really faintly. So the mics are turned up, but the computer audio is quiet. Yeah.
The wall clock is not seven everywhere else. I don't know, Gary.
My computer says 7.
I think it's 7 o'clock. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening's Plan Commission. I'd like to start off with, I believe we have a oath to be submitted. Is that correct, Mr. Mayor?
So I'd like to welcome Bob Cofelt to the Plan Commission. Jack Brunetto, as you all know, has been, I believe 2019, he took Dave Bumgarner's place and served Plan Commission well, but unfortunately he moved out of the city, and one of the statutory requirements to be on the board, the mayor has 5 appointments. The 2 requirements are you have to live in the jurisdiction you're serving, and I can apply, or I can appoint no more than 3 of the same political party. So there is some political balance that's required on the board for the 5 members the mayor appoints. Again, I want to thank Jack for his service. Jack is very involved in the city. Jack came to a lot of council meetings and was a very faithful attendant, and I assume that he will continue to be so. He was, I know, very disappointed when he found out that his home was just barely outside of the city. It was disappointing for him. So at any rate, then I had to look for, maintain some political balance, which I did, and I found Bob Cofelt. Bob comes to us with 6 years as a councilman from Norwalk, Iowa, and which is a suburb of Des Moines, which, as any of you know, is a very rapidly growing, dynamic community. So Bob got very involved in government there. He cut his second council term short because he had to move, but I know served well, and I'm just excited to find someone with that type of experience that can sit on the board and try and wade through a lot of the difficult decisions that you all have to wrestle with. I started on the Plan Commission in 1995, was on for many years, and it's a good board, but it requires a lot of information and forethought, and I know Bob will certainly give it his best. We had a nice talk the other day, and I'm really excited to have him join the Plan Commission. So with that, Bob, I'd ask you to stand up and raise your right hand so that we can get you working here. Repeat after me. I, Bob Cofelt,
I, Bob Cofelt,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and diligently
and diligently
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as a member of the Plan Commission
as a member of the Plan Commission
for the City of Warsaw, Indiana,
for the City of Warsaw, Indiana,
according to the law
according to the law
and the
to
best of my ability.
the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I will have you sign this. Bob, you want to say anything? I know I kind of set you up here. I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to add before you become one of the gang.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm very pleased to be involved with this commission. As the mayor said, I was involved with local government quite a bit in Iowa. When I first moved, I've been in Warsaw since 2004, and since that time I've spent most of my time dealing with the Boy Scouts, and I'm still very involved with them right now, but I'm kind of backing out of that and trying to get more involved back into public service, which I'd like to do.
What troop have you been working with? Or?
So I'm currently the charter organization rep for 730
Oh, cool, that's where I was at.
and 3731.
The 730 still in First Methodist?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Well, thank you, Bob. You're welcome. Delighted to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we'll begin with the approval of the January minutes.
Mr. President, I've read the minutes. If there are no further questions or comments, I move to approve.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jim Gass. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone in opposition? The minutes are approved. New business, our first item on the agenda is a resolution for the Plan Commission. I assume everyone has read. With that, I think we'll go to the phones. Jeremy, are you ready to go?
I am. Hopefully you can all hear me.
No.
What you have before you is a resolution approving the redevelopment division's resolution to make a new designated taxpayer within the northern TIF district. That taxpayer's name is on the resolution. I'm not going to attempt to say it because it's a long name. But if you're all familiar with the CBD a couple years ago, closed up shop, that equipment went up for auction. This company bought a large portion of that equipment. We have CBD bonds to do that will designate a taxpayer, whatever personal property taxes are put on that equipment will go towards paying those line of CBD bonds. This resolution approved by you, if approved by you, will then proceed to the council. The council will approve your resolution and then back to the redevelopment next month for their final approval.
Does that conclude your comments, Jeremy?
Yes.
Thank you. Any other comments from the commission? Okay, with that, if there's no questions or comments, do we want to pass this on? I believe the next step is the town council, is that correct? Justin?
Yes.
Yep, okay. Don't be shy.
So we need a motion, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we're looking for a motion, I believe.
I move to approve and send to the common council. Jeff Gross.
I'll second. Rick Keevan.
Passed by a motion by Jeff Gross, seconded by Rick Keevan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone in opposition? That carries. Thank you, Jeremy, for your comments. We'll move on to 05/01/2021, Gateway Grove Phase 1 Final. Justin, could you give us the review, please?
Yeah, so the preliminary plat for Gateway Grove subdivision was submitted and approved earlier this year. The final plat for Phase 1 of the subdivision has now been submitted for approval. Phase 1 has been reviewed for its conformity to the subdivision control ordinance and Section 13.2 regarding plan unit developments, or PUDs. Petitioner wishes to subdivide a 3.93 acre lot into 25 lots containing detached single-family residential units. The proposed development meets the requirements for a PUD and was subject to technical review as well as city council approval prior to the submittal for their final approval. I recommend that the Plan Commission grant final approval for the Gateway Grove subdivision Phase 1.
Thank you, Justin. Before we open it up, is there any questions or comments from the commission? Sir, I'm going to guess you want to speak in favor of this petition.
Yes, please.
Your name, please?
Good evening. My name is Tim Saylor with Innovative Communities, and I'm here this evening representing Kerry Groninger, the Groninger Group, the developer of Gateway Grove.
Sorry. We're good.
We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
Not everybody else gets that.
Yeah, I don't normally
Not
get that
everybody
kind of
gets
treatment.
Not everybody gets that.
Please recall that the entire project was approved back in January, and the developer is now requesting final plat approval for Phase 1 that you see highlighted there in orange. there are two minor modifications from the preliminary plan that was approved back in January. The first is the alleyway that was proposed along here on the north side of the project has been upgraded to become a city street. And the second thing is there is some additional right-of-way being dedicated along the existing alleyway on the south side to help facilitate the reconstruction of that alleyway by the city. Phase 1 has received technical approval. The developers posted performance and payment bonds for the project, and we are requesting approval for Gateway Grove PUD Phase 1 this evening. Kerry Groninger is here, as well as I would be happy to address any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
I just have a couple more informational questions than anything else. I live a couple blocks from there. What is the typical price point for the units? Expected price point, range?
Yeah, well, starting out, we're gonna have single-family homes as well as townhomes. The townhomes will be in that 260 range, and then the single-family units will be in the 300 to 325 at this point is what our target is right now.
And my second question, you'd be the perfect guy to ask. Where the trees were,
Yeah.
you got to fill all that in?
Yeah, there's a fair amount of fill. There's a lot of fill that gets cut off of Phase 1 that gets moved down into the Phase 2, Phase 3. But then Phase 4, there's going to need to be a fair amount of fill imported over time. But, with the business I'm in, we have dirt that we're shuffling around from job to job.
You would know,
So we're
yeah.
able to be able to move some material from another project down into that to make it even feasible to even fill. Otherwise, if you had to just pay to haul or buy all that fill, it would probably be cost prohibitive to even build it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
That's trained dirt then.
Yeah, it's trained.
Move it a couple of times
Yeah,
and
that's the plan anyhow.
Experienced dirt. Any other questions or comments? Yes, sir.
I have a question about some identification of amenities at this development, and where it refers to as community, like community gym, community dog park, fire pit. Is that community just for that subdivision, or community, Warsaw community?
Well, there'll be some areas that are gonna be city areas, and there's gonna be some that are actual community areas for the development. We can kind of show you a little bit on the map. I don't know if we've got one of. So we've got an area here that we've designated for a city park. We have talked to the Parks Department about that that's gonna be like a pocket park or neighborhood park. And that would be an amenity that would be for the whole, not just the Gateway community, but the whole area, the whole neighborhood there. And then there's gonna be common grass areas like here in the center here, that's gonna be more of a neighborhood park. And then there's, as we get into these other phases, there's other common areas in between these houses. As we get down that lower area that you were talking about, it's gonna be kind of a new style, that the houses actually face one another and the streets are in the back. So it's kind of creating this front lawn that you share. There's a neighbor across the street that's looking in that same common area that kind of builds a community within a community, kind of called a pocket neighborhood. So there is gonna be some amenities that will be. The gymnasium, I'm still working on that. I'm hoping to be able to find an entity that we could make it something that could be for the whole community from a perspective of, a gymnasium or a nonprofit that would want that to try and run some sort of programming in the gym, or possibly childcare. We've looked at a lot of different things. That's still a piece that we're still in motion, that we're trying to find that right person, that right mix that could really mesh. My hope is it could be an amenity for the neighborhood, but also something that could provide an amenity for the community as well. So we have talked to the Parks Department about that gym, whether that was something, and they just felt as though that wasn't something at this point they were looking to try and do, is to try to truly make it a city amenity. But we're still looking for that right person. We've talked to a few. We've got some interest. We're moving ahead with getting all the HVAC and all that stuff into it, so it is operational, because there was some of it was attached to the old school, so there's some things that we're switching back and forth to make it usable. But our hope is to have it for an amenity definitely for the community, but hopefully for the neighborhood, but hopefully for the whole community if we can find the right tenant, so.
Thank you.
When's your groundbreak?
Last 2 weeks ago
broken.
Friday.
2 weeks ago Friday? Okay, I thought I saw that, but
Yep,
that's
yep,
why I was
we
confused.
turned it in a couple.
We're approving something that's already broken ground, that's pretty good.
I had the
first time.
privilege of getting to go out there and walk through the mud,
Yeah,
see it, and I think something that the Plan Commission would be interested in is if you can show how the existing streets that are already in the neighborhood
Yeah,
are
sure.
coming right into there.
yeah, so we really wanted to make this like an extension of the block structure that you already had in your community. So Tim done a great job of laying out a street block here. So we're starting here with Main Street. So, you know, the courthouse would be back here. So you're looking down, Main Street continues right on through the property, just like it currently is. And we've got Miami Street that had currently come into the back of the school. So we're extending Miami all the way through the property. Then we're also extending Fort Wayne and Porter. So we're extending 4 block structures that are already existing in the community through the new neighborhood. And that way, we're trying to disperse, you know, there isn't any one real heavy traffic pattern that kind of disperses it out throughout the neighborhood. As well, we're just trying to make it as walkable and inviting the community as we can, to where we've got multiple points of access, whether you're going south or north or east. You can't go west because it's pretty much a swamp, everything to the left here. But yeah, we tried to make everything to where it fit in well with the existing block structure.
So Dan, that was something that I noticed, maybe going along with your question, that it is gonna just flow, so I mean, people could walk in and out of there. It's not gonna be
Yeah.
like you get there and then you can't, and you're not welcome.
Thank you, Diane.
And I can adjust something. So they did start 1 unit,
Okay.
but that's allowed on a large lot. They couldn't build multiple units on a single lot,
Okay.
but since they were wanting to meet a deadline, where we enable developers to sometimes build.
I think that's good cooperation between the city and the developers.
Yeah, we've got
I'm just curious.
Got a
why I
parade
read
of
about
homes
it.
that's happening here in September, so with all of our new supply chain issues that we're uncovering and building right now, we're trying to give ourselves as much of a head start as we possibly can.
You're running out of wood, are you?
Well, there may be more than wood we're struggling with, but we're excited to hopefully meet our deadline, so.
Will this be part of the parade of homes?
Yes, yes.
Really? Oh, very cool.
Yep.
Okay.
And the parade's a little different than it used to be. It used to be like all the parade homes were in one neighborhood.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of like one home in this neighborhood and one home in another neighborhood. But it will be on the tour of the parade of homes will be the home that we did start. So.
Okay.
You giving out vaccines as well?
Depends on what gets them there, I guess, right?
Thank you. Is there any other additional comments or questions? I'll open it up to anyone who would like to speak unfavorably to this request, but given there's no one else here, I assume that will be a moot point. All right, we'll close it to the public. Any other discussions?
Does he have to make a call, Justin, or do the open phone call thing, or no?
No, since we're open to the public now.
Okay, okay, cool.
Good question. Any other questions or comments?
I'll make a motion that we approve the final subdivision, Phase 1 of 2021-0501.
Thank you, Diane. So motion, seconded by?
Second.
Is that Dan, I'm sorry. Thank you, Dan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone in opposition? That carries unanimously.
I don't think Tim's sitting down till he knows he's got it in his back pocket. Is that the idea? Make sure you get it before you leave, the approval.
If you guys want to hang around and sign it tonight, if you want to wait.
We've only got 4 hours to go, so
Absolutely, yeah.
thank you. Next item on the agenda is 0502-2021 Williams Landing Subdivision Final. Justin?
Yeah, one sec. I just want to Jeff, can you say a few words? I just want to make sure you're still able to talk.
Yes, I
Okay.
can hear pretty clearly. I hope you guys can hear me. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we got him turned up now, so. Just wanted
Thank you,
to
Jeff.
Make sure, in case he wanted to say anything. All right. Okay, so the next case here, the petitioner requested a final plat approval for lots B and C of the Williams Landing subdivision. This replat involves the reconfiguration of lots 5 and 6 of the Morgan addition to create 3 lots with an average lot size of 11,907 square feet. As a reminder, Lot A of this subdivision received a preliminary and final approval, but because it did not contain any public infrastructure. Preliminary approval was granted for lots B and C late last year. However, there was a need to relocate a drainage easement that prevented the final plat approval at the same meeting that Lot A received that final approval. The replat for Williams Landing has been submitted in a timely fashion and reviewed for its conformity to the subdivision control ordinance. The proposed lots meet the development standards for a subdivision within an R1 zoning district. I recommend that you give final approval to lots B and C for the Williams Landing subdivision.
Thank you, Justin. Before we open it to the public, any questions or comments from the commission?
Jim, did you get to review this?
Pardon me?
Did you get to review the drainage?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak in favor? Anyone in opposition? Closed to the public. Comments or questions further from the commission?
Well, Justin, you're okay with this, right? That's the bottom line?
Yeah, once we got that drainage easement
Okay.
placed properly, I think we're good to go. Our engineering has reviewed it, so.
And it was more than just an easement, there was a relocation of a storm sewer system. And that work's been completed and it's been inspected by the utility, so.
Thank you, Jim. Any other questions or comments?
Well, if there are no further questions or comments, I'd move to approve the motion.
Thank you, Rick. Second it?
I'll second.
James? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone in opposition? That carries unanimously as well. I think that covers the new business. Justin, are there any other matters?
We do not have any today.
Only one final thing on the agenda, gentlemen and ladies.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
So motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone in opposition? We stand in adjournment. Thank you all. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You need that.
So is this turned into a busy year for you?
She's going to be.
I knew there was a lot of great projects getting ready to bring.
Oh, okay.